Playwright Chapter 3 Assertions and Element Interactions. Module 1 Assertions and Verifications. Lesson Objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will check if elements are visible or hidden, verify text content and attributes, and use built-in weighting mechanisms so your tests don't fail due to timing issues. First off, an introduction to assertions. Assertions are what make your automated test a test instead of just a browser script. They confirm whether the application behaves as expected. Playwright extends just like matchers, such as to be visible, to have text, to have attribute, so you can easily write readable and powerful assertions. Next, let's talk about automatic weighting. When using expect, Playwright automatically waits for the condition to be true. For example, you can write await expect page get by text login successful to be visible. This is going to wait for the page to have the text login successful and for it to be viewable or visible on the screen. By adding a wait, this won't fail immediately. If the element takes a second to appear, Playwright retries until either it's visible or the timeout expires. That way your tests are less flaky because let's say a page takes a few seconds to load. Instead of just asserting or checking right away, it's going to keep trying for a set amount of time. Now let's discuss some types of assertions. First, for visibility, we have to be visible or to be hidden. Next, text, to have text, to contain text. Let's say you want to see if the website has login successful or contains login as part of its text. Next, attributes. You can check to see if certain attributes are present on the page. And last but not least, URL and title. To have URL or to have a title is to check the URL or title of that web page. Here's a quick practice example that we're going to do. We're going to go to internet.herokuapp.com/login. We're going to check that the page has the title, the internet. Next, we're going to find the locators, username, and password and expect them to be visible. So now, let's go back to Visual Studio Code. So let's go back to our last test here and change this to be assertions demo. Next, we're going to have await go to this URL here, the internet Heroku app/login. Next, we're going to assert the page title. Actually, let's stop there for now. And we're going to see what's on that page because we have our await page.pause. We're going to run npx playwright test headed to launch our browser. We forgot to save again. So we're going to file, save all, and now launch our test. And as you can see, it takes us to this page here. And now we can see on this page, this has the text login page, it has a username text box, and a password text box. So we're actually going to check and see. Let's inspect. We're going to check for this title here, login page. And then we have our username that we can get by type or name or ID, as well as password that once again we can get by type, name, or ID. So now let's go back to our code. We're going to assert or validate the title. Next, we're going to assert the username and password. So get rid of these two. Await. Expect. Page.locator. Then we have username to be visible. We're missing a quote here. And then we're going to copy that. And do the same for password. And now let's see if that works. If we launch our test again, we can do in debug mode and step through our test. So it takes us to our page here. We step over. Once again, we forgot to save. But as we see, we made a mistake. The title should be login page. And now let's remember to save this and run it one more time and debugged. Let's clear this and now run npx playwright test --debug to launch our test. We have our inspector. Let's step over these steps. It took us to the website. Now here's our first assertion. We're going to assert the page title to have the title login page. And as we can see, it actually had the internet. So now let's dive into what the problem was. Let's launch this one more time. Step over the first item. And now inspect. And now let's look for the proper title. So as we can see, the title here actually is the internet for this page. So now let's update our test to look for the internet instead. But as we can see, when we had login page instead of the internet, it failed, showing our validations actually work. Let's save all of this and run it one more time. Step over, that passed, and our test was successful. We can see our report here. And it takes us to this page here, where we can see our different steps and that they passed. Now for the key takeaways. Use Playwright's Expect API for clear, readable test validations. Assertions like to be visible, to have text, include automatic weighting, reducing flaky tests. And always assert at the critical steps, like logging in, to confirm the app is behaving correctly.